Welcome back to the channel. I'm here outside the Emirates Stadium to preview one of the Premier League's finest fixtures. It's Arsenal against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in game week 11. What could possibly go wrong? Yes, welcome back to game week 11. It is Arsenal playing away at Chelsea in what can only be described as a terrible fixture congestion for Arsenal. In truth, the start to this season could have gone a bit better. Not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. Edu Gaspar has gone. That wasn't ever on the cards. And in all competitions, we really are struggling to get the players out on time, at the right time, to get the victories we need to get ahead early doors. So what do I actually mean by that? We're in game week 11 of the Premier League. We have 18 points out of 30. However, the teams we faced are ridiculously hard. We started off the season with this amazing home win against Wolves, and I felt really good about going on this nice title charge, even in game week 1. But what followed has been an absolute toot show of a set of fixtures. Our first 6 away games of the season have yielded games against Man City, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Tottenham, Bournemouth. Didn't see that being hard, but it was. Turns out we're not the only team. And now we take on Chelsea. It could be so much easier. Imagine your first 6 away games being against European top level teams. Bournemouth aside, but it is what it is. Now bear with me, I'm not going to sit here complaining and think we've been unfairly done by a fixture list or by a system. At the end of the season you play your 38 league games, but it is what it is. There's an intensity to the start of the season that has kind of cost us. And I think we find ourselves behind a Liverpool team who have had, well, let's be honest, slightly easier fixtures. They obviously did well to get their draw at the Emirates, but in reality, when does this Arsenal team get to just relax and regroup? Now, this fixture issue goes beyond just the Premier League. If you look at the Champions League, the new format, I think it works. Do you think it works? Let me know about that. But it's an absolute cowboy set of fixtures where you don't get to choose the order in which you play your teams. Now, yes, it's an Arsenal fan moaning again. But if I look at someone like FC Brest, they have 10 points out of 12, but the teams they've taken on, everyone was divided into 4 pots. They were a pot 4 team, so good for them for being in the competition. But they've managed to play their 2 pot 4 fixtures, a pot 3 fixture and a pot 2 fixture. Very confusing, bear with me. Arsenal, on the other hand, a pot 2 team, I'll take it. We've had to play our top 2 pot 1 teams and our top 2 pot 2 teams in our first 4 fixtures. It basically means you never get one of those easy weeks off where you get to relax, rotate the squad, play the youth. It's just been bang, 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 big fixture after big fixture after big fixture. And for once, I think I'm actually looking forward to the Christmas fixture list. On paper, it's way easier than what we've had to start this season. So I think that is one of the core reasons I'm a bit nervous going into this Chelsea fixture. The other thing, the other narrative that has really dominated the start to our season has been the referees. And again, it's not just the Premier League referees where we've seen 3 red cards, numerous penalties go against us, and every possibility for VAR to disallow it is got involved. But it's happened in Europe too. As we took on Inter Milan midweek, I felt pretty good about the way Arsenal set up. The possession was high, the attacking intent was there. Yes, we didn't take our chances, but what I didn't assume is that an on-field refereeing decision saying it wasn't a penalty would get overturned by VAR in a decision that's just so UEFA. It would only be given in European games. Even the Inter fans didn't look like they wanted a penalty from that decision, but somehow Arsenal lost out again. And I am starting to feel there is a feeling at the club that we're just not there to win it. Every time we get close to it, we have a contentious decision. And outside the realm of football, I'm a Scotland rugby fan. As I never thought I'd see the day that I compared Arsenal Football Club to Scotland Rugby, but we're always the kind of hard done by, nearly there but not quite. We're turning into kind of moany fans almost. So I think in this Chelsea fixture we need to get on top. We need to be on the ref's good books. We need to dominate the decision making so it goes in our favour. Don't look for time wasting. Don't look for an iffy challenge. I worry about the likes of Thomas Partey at right back putting in a bad challenge every now and then, or Mikel Merino maybe not being up to speed in the Premier League. But however it pans out, just play to the whistle and let's start getting back in referees' good books, I guess. The third reason I'm feeling a bit nervous about this fixture, and I guess that's my overriding feeling, nerves, is our injury list has just not been kind. It could have been worse. I don't think we're in a crisis point. But the amount of players we've had injured who have been linchpins for particular games, Martin Ødegaard's absence cannot be understated. We've looked a bit shy in front of goal. We haven't looked like we've moved it quickly from defence to attack. And although I think Mikel Merino could really be one of those players, or Declan Rice could be one of those players to play with Ødegaard, as it stands, we just don't look fluent. What doesn't help is at the back, our defence is also pretty injured. We've had Calafiori, Timber, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel all have bouts of not being in the team. And I head into this fixture not really knowing who's fit or not. I suspect it will be Timber left back, Ben White right back, Saliba and Gabriel, and we say, hey, it's back to full strength. But there's not many games this season where we've finished with those four. And it does start making me nervous that Arteta is not content on having the same back four. And whenever we make those substitutes, when it's a Kivior coming on, or a Zinchenko, or anyone else, we just look a bit fragile. So if we can address that, maybe we have a chance against this Chelsea team. After all, it is only Chelsea, right? Whether it is a game inside here at the Emirates Stadium in my season ticket, or whether it's an away fixture that I watch on TV, it feels like Arsenal's identity is somewhat missing at the moment. We don't have a goal scorer who is banging it in, week out. We don't have fluidity in how we're bringing the ball out from the goalkeeper into that midfield. And for whatever reason, it's all just a bit confused at the moment. Scoring record goals in the Premier League really felt like something new for us last season, and every fan, I guess, thought that we'd kick on and do it this season. But somehow, Kai Havertz doesn't really look confident in front of goal. Trossard doesn't look confident on the pitch, and Martinelli is very stop-start in his attack. We can't keep relying on Bukayo Saka to get us out of trouble, or a Gabriel header. Teams are wising up to it, and it feels for the first time in a long time, teams have properly scouted us. It's difficult for Arsenal to get results. My hunch is we need to get back to possession-based football. We need to have a stronger midfield that holds onto the ball and knows exactly when to pivot between defence and attack. The days of kind of dithering are kind of creeping in again, and I don't really like it. I spent most of that Inter Milan game watching what looked like we were playing in small squares, almost as though every person on the pitch was told where their square was and to either beat a man or to pass their way out of their square, as though that was the metric of success, as opposed to putting the ball in the back of the net, which is, at the end of the day, probably all that matters. And it feels like we're playing a theoretical game of football instead of just smashing it into the net and getting the crowd cheering behind us. Now, we're not the only team to not really have an identity. Chelsea themselves have struggled a little bit this season. They're not going to get the opportunity to play FC Noah every week and win 8-0. And in the Premier League, it's kind of the Cole Palmer show. It's a very good show, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't feel like Chelsea are going to be dominating us across the middle of the park. Caicedo is back to form, and Lavia being back from injury is great to see. But if Arsenal can control that midfield properly, I suspect we will have that possession-based football we want, even though it's at Stamford Bridge. But for me, it's all about goals. We need to get that goal tally higher. The clean sheets have started drying up with that weird changing defence, and I think we need to get back to the days of killing off games, getting 3 goals or more in a fixture, which might sound greedy, but I think that's just Premier League football this season. You need to get the ball in the net more often than we have done. Is Kai Havertz the man to do that? I hope so. Wouldn't that be great? But as it currently stands, I look at the likes of Gyökeres in the Champions League, or, I don't know, even in the Premier League, seeing Brian Mbeumo put the ball in the back of the net, and I'm thinking, I'd like a bit of that. And I suspect a lot of Arsenal fans would like a lot of that. So here's the meaty bit. What is my prediction for how Arsenal-Chelsea plays out? Arsenal haven't lost to Chelsea for a long time, and actually our recent record is huge. We beat them 5-0 at the Emirates back in April. And I'd really like that to continue. But in reality, I can't see Chelsea keeping a clean sheet, but I can't see us keeping a clean sheet. I think this is going to be ding-dong, big-time football. I think the way we're playing, I think it's only a draw for us. I think it will be a 2-2 draw. I think there'll be something contentious, something frustrating, something that riles us fans. And I think for once, we actually need an international break. Maybe a cheeky trip to Dubai, who knows? But I think we need to reset as a group. Arteta very specifically said we don't need to reset, but I don't know. What would Arteta know, hey? He's only the greatest football manager we've had in recent times. If you have enjoyed this video, please let me know about it. Consider subscribing, give me a like and some feedback on your own predictions or how you think the season's gone so far for Arsenal. And wherever you're watching this, please enjoy your weekend of football, be good humans, do good things. Peace.